And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at the new version of Port Royal from Steve Jackson Games, originally produced from Pegasus Spiel in a much smaller box. This is a much bigger one. And in fact, the cover of this box is a little odd because the artwork inside is really, it's Clement Franz, and this is not Clement Franz's cover. If it is, I don't think it is. But this game from Alexander Pfister, who is probably best known for his more complex, deeper Euro games, this is a simple little card game that the very first time I played it, I was like, this is amazing! So now that the American version is here, I can tell you still, it's amazing. This is a fun little game. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so we have a 120 deck card that's going to be placed in the middle of the table. These cards are coins. Each player is going to start with 3 of them. It does not matter what's on the other side of these cards. You start with 3 coins. One player is chosen to go first, and they're the active player. On the active player's turn, they will turn over the top card from the deck. They can keep drawing as much as they want until they either decide to stop or they bust. Now, some of the things that they turn over are going to be different people that they're going to be able to hire. So you see some sailors, a captain, a trader. Here we have a jester. These are going to cost money to hire them. Since I only start with 3, I'm not going to be able to hire most of them, although I could hire the sailor. There's also going to be ships out here. Now, when a ship shows up, each ship has a combat strength. You can let the ship sit there, or if you have enough combat strength, so let's say I have the sailor in front of me that gives me 1, you can discard it right away. You don't have to, and if you let it come through, then it stays there forever. And so this is where the busting of the game comes through, because if you ever draw 2 ships with the same flag on them, and you can't, the second one that comes out, if you don't have enough military strength to get rid of it, then you're busted. Your turn's over, and all cards are discarded. And some ships can go very high, and there are some ships which have a skull and crossbones, and you can't even get rid of those anyway. Ships aren't the only thing in here. There's also missions. When a mission comes, they're set aside because players are trying to get combinations of those icons on the different people. See, this guy here gives me an anchor. If on my turn I have 2 people with anchors, I can discard them. They're worth 1 point each, probably, but this mission here is worth 4 points, and it also gives me money. Also, when these are turned over, everyone's going to have to pay taxes depending on how much. If you have more than 12 coins, you lose half of them. And then here, whoever has the fewest victory points gets an extra coin. So when these show up. So these are going to be showing up often. Here's one, whoever has the highest swords is going to get a coin. Here's a French ship. So this is basically what's in here. Now, let's say you decide to stop before you bust. So let's say I got a Dutch ship, a French ship, an American ship out here. I have a Spanish ship, there's a sailor, and a jester. And I decide to stop at this point. First, you see how many different flags there are. Now, there are 5 flags total, and if you have 3 or less, you get to take 1 card. If you have 4, you get to take 2 cards, and if you have 5, you get to take 3. Of course, going for 4 or 5 is going to push your luck more. Now, when you take a card, it's pretty easy. Take this, get a coin. Take that, get a coin. Take this, get 3 coins. Take this, get 4 coins. Take this, pay 3 coins, and get the character. Take this, pay 5 coins, and get that character. And the characters will do different things, like some give you weapons, some give you a special ability, like this gentleman here. Whenever you take a Dutch ship, and you'll get 1 extra coin. So if I have this in front of me and I took this card, I would get 4 coins. But let's say it's my turn. I'm going to take the American ship. I want 4 coins. So I just go to the draw pile, take 4 cards off, put them in my coin pile. Each other player then can take 1 card, starting with the person clockwise and going around a table. So the next person will be like, oh, I want the Dutch ship. That's great. That gives them 3 coins. However, each active player that takes this into account also has to pay me 1. So they take 3, but they pay me 1. Well, the next person doesn't want to take a 1 ship and pay me 1. That's not worth it. But they have 3, so they pay 3 to the bank to take the sailor, but they also have to pay 1 to me. So it goes all the way around, and then that's it. Then all the rest of the cards are discarded, and it's the next player's turn. So this is just going to continue to go on. As soon as somebody in front of them has 12 victory points or influence points, so let's say I have 2 missions and 2 of these guys, that's a total of 12 points, then I'm the winner of the game. You finish the current round just in case. Whoever has the most points after that round, in case there's more than one person, is the winner. If there's a tie, most coins breaks the tie. Wow. Man, the push your luck aspect in this game is what I like the most. But there's a lot of things involved. It's more than people think, right? You want to push your luck and draw and draw and draw, and sometimes you get lucky. You get 5 different flags. More often than not, you'll draw 3 cards, and there's 2 flags of the same type there, and you're like, and your turn's instantly over. When you're drawing cards, let's say on my turn I draw a card that has 3 coins on it. Now, why would I not just take that 3-coin flag? Why would I push my luck maybe to take 2 cards, and I'll get a 3 and a 4 if I'm really lucky? That's like super luck. Why not just take the 3 coins? Well, there's some other reasons to push your luck. Because the more cards you put out there, the bigger the pool you're making for each other person to go. So when it's their turn, they can take a card, and if they take a card, they're paying you a coin. So having more cards out there is certainly a good thing to do. It's just that you draw more cards and you bust. So there's a lot of games like this where you draw cards and bust, but this one has more of a game behind it. You're trying to get different guys, and some people are collecting guys with the symbols on so they can complete the missions. Some people are collecting the guys that give them more coins when they get ships so they can just buy more guys. There's a person you can get that always lets you buy an extra person. There's buy an extra card, take an extra card from the middle. There's, maybe you just want to get a bunch of the swords so that you can have a lot easier time flipping through the deck because you can kill most of the small ships. So if you draw the second ship and it's a 3, you're like, I got that out of the way, next. And keep going until you get 4 or 5 cards, and you get to take 3 and do really well. It's just really nice, and it's not that complex. There's some expansions for the game, at least on the Pegasus side, but the base game itself works really well. Speaking of that, this seems, I have to do a full comparison, I haven't completely set them down, to be very similar to the Pegasus one. The cards are slightly different size, so you can't mix them, although the backs look the exact same, and the artwork looks the same. And in fact, small point here, this cover here is an okay cover. I don't know, it's a very generic pirate one, but it doesn't match the cards in the game. They have a very different feel from that cover. I just feel like that cover is really mismatched. But they also, as far as I can tell, the flags in the original game were just colors. Here they've given them nationalities, which is fine. But the artwork is still, I like Clemens Franz's artwork. This game is not long. We're talking 20, 30 minutes. You're just going to get a certain number of points, and it scales really well. And I sit there, and I'm tense on my turn, and I'm tense on other people's turns. And you're always involved, because even when it's someone else's turn, you're like, yes, turn over more cards so I can take a ship, or turn over more cards so I can spend some of my money to buy good cards in the middle. And that's just, it really works together well, the whole situation. This is a great game, folks. Some people kind of just pass on by Steve Jackson because they don't like Munchkin. You might not like Munchkin. I'm not a big fan of it myself. But Steve Jackson makes some really good games, and this is one of them. Definitely check this one out. Easily adding this to my collection. I really like this. Port Royal.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.